Once, a lion lived in a forest. His name was Leo. He was the king of the jungle, strong, fearless, respected by everyone. Whenever Leo walked through the jungle, animals stepped aside. Whenever he roared, the entire forest fell silent. To everyone around him, Leo looked unstoppable. But what nobody knew was that one day this powerful lion would lose everything: his strength, his confidence, his pride. And when that happened, the entire jungle believed his story was over. But before we continue, let me ask you something. Have you ever felt like giving up? Have you ever worked hard for something, failed and thought, maybe I'm just not good enough? What if I told you that the difference between winners and losers is not talent? It's not luck. It's not strength. It's the decision to keep going when everything tells you to quit. Today's story is about a lion who lost everything. The entire jungle believed his story was finished. But what happened next became the greatest lesson the jungle had ever seen. And if you stay until the end, this story might change the way you face your own challenges forever. Deep inside a vast golden jungle lived Leo, the mighty king. Leo wasn't just any lion. He was admired by every animal in the forest. He was brave, confident, powerful, and he believed nothing could ever defeat him. But life has a strange way of teaching lessons to those who think they have already learned everything. One summer, the jungle faced the worst drought in its history. The rivers dried up. The grass turned yellow. Food became scarce. Animals struggled to survive. Every day became harder than the last. Leo spent hours searching for food. He crossed dry valleys, climbed rocky hills, walked farther than ever before. Yet every hunt ended in failure. Weeks passed. Slowly, Leo became thinner, weaker, slower. The king who once ruled with confidence now struggled to keep up with his own shadow. Then disaster struck. One evening, while chasing a deer across a rocky cliff, Leo slipped. His paw hit a sharp stone. He lost his balance and tumbled down the hillside. The fall was brutal. His leg was injured. His body was covered with bruises. And for the first time in his life, Leo couldn't even stand properly. The king had fallen. Days turned into weeks. Leo remained hidden inside a dark cave. He couldn't hunt, couldn't run, couldn't protect anyone. As he listened to the sounds of the jungle outside, a dangerous thought entered his mind. Maybe my best days are over. That thought returned every day, and every day it grew stronger. Soon, Leo stopped trying, stopped believing, stopped hoping. The lion who once inspired everyone had begun to surrender. Act 2. The darkest moment. One morning, Leo looked outside his cave. The sun was shining, birds were singing, animals were living their lives. But Leo felt trapped, broken, defeated. As he sat there feeling sorry for himself, an old tortoise named Oliver slowly approached. Very slowly, extremely slowly. In fact, Leo had enough time to take a nap before Oliver finally arrived. Oliver smiled. "Good morning?" Leo sighed. "What's good about it?" Oliver sat beside him. "You're alive." Leo rolled his eyes. "That's easy for you to say." Oliver nodded. "Tell me what's wrong." Everything Leo had been holding inside suddenly exploded. "I can't run. I can't hunt. I'm not strong anymore. I'm not the lion I used to be." Oliver listened quietly. Then he asked a strange question. "Have you ever watched a bamboo tree grow?" Leo frowned. "What does that have to do with anything?" Oliver smiled. "Everything. The bamboo tree spends years growing roots underground before anyone sees results. Years. No leaves, no branches, no visible progress. If it gave up during that time, it would never become strong enough to rise." Leo remained silent. Oliver continued. "Most animals quit because they don't see immediate results. They mistake slow progress for failure. But they're not the same thing." Those words stayed in Leo's mind. That night, he couldn't sleep. For the first time in weeks, he began thinking differently. Maybe he wasn't finished. Maybe this was just part of the journey. Maybe his story wasn't over yet. The next morning, Leo made a decision. He would try again. Not tomorrow, not next week. Today. At first, the progress was tiny. He walked a few steps, then rested. The next day, he walked a little farther, then a little farther. Some days hurt. Some days felt impossible. Some days he wanted to quit. But every time he remembered Oliver's words, slow progress is still progress. So he kept going. Weeks passed. Leo became stronger. Not instantly, not magically, but gradually. One step at a time, one day at a time. The animals noticed. Every morning Leo trained. Every evening Leo trained. Even when it rained. Even when he was tired. Even when nobody was watching. And slowly something amazing happened. His confidence returned. Not because he was winning, but because he refused to stop trying. Act 3. The power of never giving up. One afternoon, a terrified scream echoed through the jungle. "Help!" Animals rushed toward the sound. A young elephant had fallen into a deep canyon. The walls were steep, the rocks were dangerous, and the canyon was too deep to climb. Panic spread quickly. Animals tried everything. Nothing worked. Hours passed. The sun began to set. Hope started fading. Fear became stronger. Then someone whispered, "Maybe we should give up." The crowd fell silent. Give up? Leave him there? Nobody liked the idea, but nobody had another solution. Nobody except Leo. The lion stepped forward. His injured leg still wasn't perfect. His body still carried scars, but his eyes burned with determination. "No!" The jungle looked at him. "We don't give up." The rescue began again. Leo organized the animals. Monkeys gathered vines. Elephants moved rocks. Birds searched from above. Zebras carried supplies. Everyone worked together. Hours passed. Then more hours. The task seemed impossible. Many animals became discouraged. Some wanted to quit. Some believed failure was inevitable. But every time someone lost hope, Leo repeated the same words. One more try. Just one more try. Again, and again, and again, until finally, success. The young elephant was pulled safely out of the canyon. The jungle erupted with joy. Animals cheered. Parents hugged their children. Friends celebrated together. And standing in the center of it all was Leo, smiling. Not because he was the strongest, not because he was the fastest, but because he had learned something far more important. That night, the entire jungle gathered beneath the stars. A giant celebration fire lit the darkness. The animals cheered for Leo, but Leo stood and shook his head. "This isn't about me." The crowd became silent. Leo looked around. Then he spoke. "The greatest mistake I ever made was believing failure meant the end. When I got injured, I thought my story was over. I thought I was finished. But failure isn't the end. It's a lesson. It's a test. It's an opportunity to grow stronger." The jungle listened carefully. Leo continued. "The moment you give up, you guarantee failure. But the moment you keep going, you give success a chance." The stars sparkled above. A gentle breeze moved through the trees, and every animal felt inspired, because they realized something powerful. Success doesn't belong to the strongest, or the smartest, or the luckiest. Success belongs to those who refuse to quit. Moral of the story: life will knock you down. People may doubt you. You may fail. You may struggle. You may feel like giving up. But remember this: every successful person has faced moments when quitting seemed easier. The difference is that they kept going. One more step, one more attempt, one more day. Because sometimes your breakthrough is hiding just behind the obstacle that makes you want to quit. So never give up. Never stop believing. Never stop trying. Because your story isn't over yet. And just like Leo the lion, your greatest comeback may still be ahead of you.